we are kicking things off with a major legal showdown. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton has officially filed a massive lawsuit against Netflix, accusing the streaming giant of illegally collecting and profiting from Texans' personal data, including sensitive information tied to children. This isn't just a small dispute. Paxton alleges that Netflix has been misleading the public for years about their data collection practices, claiming they are secretly tracking every viewing habit, device, and household network interaction. We dive into the shocking allegations about how Netflix is allegedly selling user data across a shadowy network of ad tech companies and the manipulative features designed to keep everyone glued to the screen.
Here's a simple way to protect your phone without stress. This ALEN 3-pack comes with tempered glass screen protectors, camera lens protectors, and an installation frame for an easier, cleaner fit. It's clear, case-friendly, and built to help guard against scratches and everyday bumps. Check the link in the comments to get it on Amazon.
Next up, we shift gears completely to the investment side of the streaming world as Reed Hastings steps away from the Netflix board, sending ripples through the company's future strategy. This move forces investors to ask critical questions about how the current leadership team will steer Netflix moving forward, especially concerning major portfolio decisions. We examine the mix of product bets, theatrical ambitions, and governance changes to see if the company is positioning itself correctly for the next era of viewing, and what this signals about their long-term path against competitors. Now, let's talk about what's actually landing on the platform with a review spotlight. We are diving into the critically acclaimed Netflix release, Remarkably Bright Creatures. This film is described as a moving, sweet, and genuinely charming drama centered around a widowed woman and an octopus, featuring a standout performance from Sally Field. We break down why this quiet, gentle story about grief and connection is proving to be a rare and successful Netflix release, and why it might be exactly the kind of heart-warmer you need right now. And finally, we wrap up with a look at a major cinematic event streaming on the service. Netflix is rebooting a classic, taking the 90s infamous sci-fi thriller Anaconda and giving it a hilariously meta makeover starring Jack Black and Paul Rudd. This reboot weaponizes nostalgia while embracing a smart, low-brow comedy vibe, making it a must-watch for anyone looking for an irreverent throwback. Don't miss this cultural moment. Stay tuned right here for all the latest news and analysis. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton has filed a lawsuit against Netflix, alleging the streaming giant illegally collected and profited from the personal data of Texans, including information pertaining to children, without obtaining user knowledge or consent. In the legal filing, Paxton claims Netflix misled the public for years by falsely representing that it did not collect or share extensive user data. The lawsuit asserts that Netflix actively tracks and logs users, viewing habits, preferences, devices, household networks, application usage, and other sensitive behavioral data, transforming every platform interaction into a data point revealing user information. The allegations specify that this tracking encompasses not only adult accounts, but also profiles for children. Furthermore, the suit accuses Netflix of disclosing this user information to commercial data brokers and advertising technology companies, where the data is combined with information from other platforms to construct detailed consumer profiles. Paxton contends that user data is being shopped across big ad tech's shadowy network, resulting in Netflix earning billions annually through the secret sale of consumer data. Beyond data collection, the lawsuit accuses Netflix of intentionally designing its platform to be addictive through features, such as autoplay, which is described as a mechanism intended to create a continuous content stream designed to keep users, including children, watching for extended durations. Texas Attorney General Paxton is seeking to hold Netflix accountable under the Texas Deceptive Trade Practices Act. The demands in the lawsuit include halting the unlawful collection and disclosure of user data, mandating that Netflix disable autoplay by default on children's profiles, and seeking various injunctive relief and civil penalties. Netflix is navigating a challenging media landscape marked by shifting viewer habits, intense content spending pressure, and competition from social video, gaming, and traditional media. In response, the streaming giant is actively experimenting with new strategies, including developing a vertical feed and pursuing theatrical releases to diversify audience reach and leverage its intellectual property. The departure of Reed Hastings from the board brings increased scrutiny to the current leadership team's strategic direction. Investors are closely examining how management will allocate capital and utilize the Netflix brand moving forward. Recent product experiments, such as testing a vertical mobile feed and backing a major film release like Narnia, with theatrical and IMAX distribution, signal a willingness to stretch the company's model across short-form mobile viewing, premium cinema windows, and traditional streaming. For investors benchmarking Netflix against rivals like Disney, Warner Bros. Discovery, and Amazon Prime Video, this mix of product experimentation and content formats is a critical indicator of how the company plans to capture viewing time and advertising budgets, while simultaneously supporting its buyback programs and free cash flow targets. Key areas for monitoring include governance stability following Hastings' exit, the performance of ad-supported tiers and vertical video initiatives, and the combined success of box office and streaming traction for theatrical ventures. Furthermore, management's ability to maintain free cash flow guidance and buyback pace while balancing content and technology investments will be central to stock valuation. Ultimately, the company's worth hinges on its execution across these fronts. The narrative for Netflix involves assessing governance stability, the success of new viewing formats, and the financial discipline maintained amid aggressive growth and experimentation. A recent review of the Netflix release Remarkably Bright Creatures praises the film as a moving, sweet, and genuinely charming drama, noting it is a comforting story perfectly suited for an older audience. Based on the 2022 novel by Shelby Van Pelt, the film centers on Tova, a recently widowed elderly woman grappling with the loss of her teenage son, who takes a night shift cleaning the local aquarium. There, she forms an unlikely and deepening connection with Marcellus, the resident giant Pacific octopus, who is revealed to possess a surprising depth of intelligence and emotion. The narrative also introduces Cameron, a directionless young man who becomes increasingly connected to Tova's past. The film skillfully weaves the mystery of Tova's son's disappearance with the relationships fostered around the aquarium, opting for a quiet, unhurried pace rather than conventional thriller or melodrama. The performance by Sally Field as Tova is highlighted as the emotional core, delivering a nuanced portrayal of grief marked by both optimism and devastating vulnerability. Lewis Pullman's role as Cameron is noted for his natural warmth in the intergenerational dynamic. Alfred Molina's voice work as the octopus Marcellus is singled out as a delightful highlight, transforming the creature from a gimmick into a genuine, sardonic character. The film is set against a moody and beautiful Pacific Northwest coastal backdrop, enhanced by an ensemble cast that lends a grounded, lived-in texture to the story. While the review acknowledges that the film leans towards tidy resolutions and predictable emotional payoffs, it asserts that the caliber of the performances ensures these moments resonate genuinely. Remarkably Bright Creatures is ultimately described as a sweet, heartwarming film that excels in its execution, making it a rare and solid Netflix release. Netflix has launched a remake of the infamous 1990s sci-fi thriller, Anaconda, starring Jack Black and Paul Rudd. This new installment is described as a hilariously meta take on the original, positioning it as one of the great remakes of the last 2 decades. The plot centers on 3 childhood friends experiencing a midlife crisis, who decide to remake the original film on a shoestring budget. Their venture into the Amazon rainforest leads them to encounter a mysterious woman who threatens to turn their project into a monster hit or result in their demise. The cast is highlighted as a major draw, with Paul Rudd returning to his affable persona and Jack Black embodying a relatable aging man struggling with unfulfilled dreams. Steve Zahn serves as the quirky anchor of the reboot. Director and co-writer Tom Gormican is credited with realizing that a straight remake would be insufficient, opting instead to weaponize nostalgia for the original B-movie style into something fresh. The film is characterized by a blend of a wickedly smart meta-concept and delightfully dumb execution, appealing to viewers looking for irreverent throwback comedy rather than high art. Reviewers suggest the film offers the carefree ethos of the 90s, functioning as a fun, self-contained comedy. The new Anaconda is available to stream on Netflix.